Today's gonna be a law of assumption story time. This story time is about how I manifested my apartment. I manifested my apartment back in 2022. I started manifesting it. I made it on a vision board, and then I also started affirming for the apartment. When I started affirming for it, it was people love my new apartment. They love congratulating me on my new apartment. My new apartment is beautiful. I love my new apartment. I also started scripting of the things that I would do in my apartment, how my apartment would look. I always wanted luxury apartment, so I knew my first apartment as a 21-year-old had to be luxury. I really like glitz and glam. However, I do like the spiritual side of things as well. I am spiritual. They look at me and be like, "Oh, like she be cussing and da 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 da." I'm be honest with you. I know duality. I'ma do me regardless. So, anyways, yeah. So I like luxury stuff. So like I said, I knew I wanted my apartment to be luxury. However, I knew I wanted certain aspects in my house. Like I wanted the house to not only be luxury, but I needed certain aspects like brown cabinets in a luxury apartment. Fuck no. And in the city that I was staying in literally had like so many brown cabinets and stuff, and I knew for a fact I didn't want no motherfucking brown cabinets. My cabinets need to be dark and they need to match the luxury vibe. I also wanted a dishwasher in my apartment. Did I use the dishwasher? Fuck no, I never used it, but I wanted it. I wanted it in there, and it was in there. I knew I was only getting a 1 bedroom. I had an idea of how I wanted my house to look, and I kid you not, I wrote all of this stuff down. I affirmed for the apartment, and things seemed all good and peachy or whatever while I'm doing it. But it's when the stuff starts coming into your reality where you can start getting shaken up. And I'm gonna tell you right now, don't let shit jade you. Don't let shit shake you up. Because at any moment, the moment you decide, if you decide that shit yours, it's yours. Boom. So I turned in the application for the apartment. Well, I went to turn it in. That same day that I went to go turn in the application for the apartment, I got adorned. Which, what is adornment? I went and got my waist beads blessed and put on. I also went and got my jewelry, my Nazar, which is evil eye. They call it an evil eye bracelet. I went and got my Nazar blessed, and my Nazar necklace was blessed as well. So yeah, I got adorned that day. And while I was in the adornment, she was asking me questions or whatever, and I was telling her, she just kept started speaking affirmations of me, like that apartment is yours, everything is gonna work out wonderfully for you, etc., etc. And so I went to go drop it off after I got adorned, and the people from the apartment was not there, which means I couldn't turn the application in. That's one circumstance. So then I went to go turn it in again, and they didn't have like a drop box or nothing. Like you had to physically give it to them. And I went again, they still weren't there. I was calling them. They was telling me, oh, you should come by this time, and then I go at that time, which is what I would like to call it, forcing the 3D. When I went there at that time, no one was there either time. Well, I just kind of started like, okay, fuck it. So time passed on, and I got this little urge in me. This is called I forgot what it's called in the manifestation community. But anyways, I got the urge to go. And when I got the urge to go, I went there. And when I got there, these people was trying to tell me, like, I don't make enough money to get this apartment. First of all, I knew I made enough money. They was just being lazy, and they didn't want to calculate how much money I was making, because I was a server and I was making a lot of tips. And with serving, you're making tips, so they can't really go off of your check stubs. And so they was just being all extra and confusing. Then they was like, oh, get somebody to write me a letter. And if they write the letter for me, then they'll approve me for the apartment. I was like, fuck no, I'm not getting nobody to write a letter. Like, I know how much money I'm making, boo. Like, I'm literally sitting up here stacked up with thousands of dollars right now that I'm not spending. Y'all trying to tell me that I can't afford this shit, boo. I can't afford this. The rent was only $769, baby. I can afford that. They just didn't want to like do the fucking check stub, because they didn't want to figure out how much money I was actually making. Okay, cool. I said no, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I don't care. I'm not doing that. They was trying to get me to get some type of letter, and they wanted me to go get it notarized, and it was just so much that they wanted me to do, and I just was not having it. I'm not gonna lie, I was not having it. I'm like, no, like, y'all doing too much. And so I just told the people, I was like, okay, well, cool, blah blah blah, whatever. She was like, well, you can either decide to still put the application in and just maybe not getting approved, or you could just withdraw your application. I was like, nope, I'm gonna keep it. You can turn it in. I paid my application fee, and it was only $50. So I was like, if I lose $50, so what? I didn't care. But I knew I wasn't gonna lose the $50, so I put the application in. I kid y'all not. A few months passed. I think I want to say about a month or 2 months passed. and they were just filling the apartments up, filling the apartments up. Now they did tell me it was a wait list. I wasn't on the wait list. They called me. They said, hey, we only have one apartment left. We're gonna save it for you. Mind y'all, circumstances do not fucking matter. Them people told me no so many goddamn times. They kept telling me no. Like, they kept saying, oh, like, we just don't, it's just too difficult. We can't do this. And I held that shit. I held it in my mind. I was like, that apartment is mine. That is mine. When that lady walked me through that apartment was what I wrote down to a T. That was mine. I didn't care what she said. My phone started dying, so I had to come in the house. Anyways, she walked me through the apartment. I loved that apartment. I loved it. And I was like, yes, like, this is mine. Yes. And so I left, and I kid you not, like, once I was like, fuck it, like, I was like, fuck this shit. I don't know. When you cuss the 3D out, when you cuss out the reality, that shit, it bend to your will. I don't know what it is behind it, but like, yeah, I cussed that shit out. I was affirming, and I was cussing that motherfucking shit out. And like a few days after she walked me through that apartment, they called me and told me to come pick up my keys. They told me to come pick up my motherfucking keys. I loved that apartment. They also had a gardening space, and I gardened out there, and I lived there for a good little minute until management changed. I just couldn't get along with the new management, and I was not finna try to change them. I didn't give a fuck about changing them. I was like, fuck this apartment, bitch, I'll find another one. And yeah, but circumstances don't matter.